Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and despite what you think is the beginning of some good news for Celtic, there's always something that comes and slaps you in the face. There's something that's just got to keep you down and out. And we have more fresh, devastating injury news to keep us down today. So let's talk about that. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, it would be much appreciated. We're nearly at 41,000 subscribers, so let's keep moving towards 50k. Thank you all for your support. And a very quick side note before we move on, I've had a few people point it out and it's annoying me myself. The lighting recently hasn't been great for the videos. I'm trying to sort some things out up here, and then hopefully the lighting will be back to its best. Until then, just bear with me. We've got more to worry about. LIEL ABADA, he's injured. He's out, and for quite a while. We're going to discuss the exact details of the injury, and we're going to talk about how long he'll be on the sidelines for. But today we got the confirmation that he will be out for a lengthy period of time after that article broke the other day when he was sent home from international duty with the Israel national team. Very annoying. Just when you think people are coming back and you're about to get close to your strongest side back out on the park, one of your key players, one of your star attackers, drops off with one that's tough to take. Brendan Rodgers confirmed at his press conference this afternoon that LIEL ABADA is facing 3 to 4 months out injured after that injury he picked up with the Israel national team. Very frustrating, and I guess the only positive that you can take from it is these headlines started swirling this morning. This was the Daily Record. They put up this: LIEL ABADA suffers horror Celtic layoff with injury ruling winger out until next year. The article went on to say that LIEL ABADA could be out for up to 5 months, according to news reports in Israel, after being sent home from that international break. It has now obviously came to the surface from Brendan Rodgers himself that the injury won't be as much as 5 months, but nonetheless you're talking 3 to 4 months in which you're losing one of your best players, someone who's just signed a new contract, someone who we've all kind of bigged up for having a great season, and now he's out. For more details on the injury itself, it seems that LIEL ABADA has torn a muscle in his thigh. He sustained that injury during a shooting drill with the Israel national team through training for their games. It's one that he's going to fly to London for this week to get further scans on. We will hear more details as the weeks go by. It could very well be something that leaves him out for up to 5 months if the scans come back with more damage than what Celtic have assessed. So these scans are going to be very important in telling us how long he'll be out for precisely, when he'll be able to start rehabbing the injury, and when he'll get his surgery done. Because I assume that with this kind of tear in his thigh, I think it's one of his tendons or something, I'm assuming that with these scans that will take place in London over the next week, they will try and identify the correct process to go through, and I'm kind of assuming that will involve surgery. It's not what we needed. When we heard about this injury the other day, when it first broke that he was sent home, I thought it was going to be nothing but precautionary. Maybe he'd be out for a couple of weeks tops. It's went pretty much as badly as it could have, which is really frustrating. If he is out until January time, then that's obviously gutting, because he misses the entirety of the Champions League group stages, which we really needed him for. It really couldn't happen at a worse time for Celtic when the start of this season has just been injury after injury. I can already see the comments section in my head, because it's been the same every time I've done an injury update. People asking what's going on, what's happening at Lennoxtown, why is everybody getting injured? But this LIEL ABADA injury isn't Celtic's fault. This has happened, as far away from Lennoxtown as you could get. It's happened over in Israel. It's happened with his national team. Celtic can't do anything about it. And it's been the same for a lot of the injuries this season. It's not been Celtic's fault, and injuries very rarely are the club's fault. We'd know that if the club was running him into the ground, I think they'd be a lot worse, and we'd be seeing a lot more than what we already are. A lot of these injuries this season have just been incredibly unlucky. We've found ourselves in a very unfortunate position when it comes to injuries. And there's not an awful lot you can do about it. If someone's torn a muscle in their thigh, which LIEL ABADA has here, there's no way of us stopping that. It's football. They're athletes, and these things happen. Once in a while, they all seem to pile in at the one time, and when that does happen, all we can sit and do is try and laugh it off and get on with it. Us as fans, we can't do much. We're not the physios, we're not the doctors that try and fix things. We've just got to watch the team and hope they get better. I do wish LIEL ABADA the best with his recovery, but it does now open a massive list of questions for us to start thinking about when we try and move forward here. One of the most frustrating things is the fact that this has happened merely days after the Champions League squad registration. We can't change that now. I think the only change that you can make is if there's an injury to the goalkeepers. I think that's the only time you get allowed an exception. We've registered LIEL ABADA as a player, and now we've just got to watch him sit on the bench through the entirety of the Champions. Not even on the bench, on the injury table throughout this Champions League group stage campaign. If it happened a couple of days prior, maybe we could have got Marco Tellio in there and he would have been fit to play the last 3-4 games of it. But here we are, a winger down. What I will say is I'm not as concerned as what some people have already shown themselves to be on social media, and I get it. It is a time to be concerned. He's one of our best players. I'm just kind of glad that we do have like Yang and Tellio here who can now kind of use this opportunity between them over the next few months to try and show us what they're all about. Especially Yang, who'll have to be the first choice, you'd think, when it comes to European football. He's surely going to be the guy that starts those games. It's not left us in an ideal position, absolutely not. But I'm hoping that he can take this positive pressure, I want to say, and use it to make himself a star. We've seen glimpses of what he can do. He's shown us some great quality. Now he's going to have the chance to do that on the biggest stage in European football. Marco Tellio, who we've heard is got to catch up with the rest of the team. He's not registered with the Champions League side, but he'll be ready to come into the fold in domestic games shortly. And when he's given that opportunity, once again, like Yang, I hope he shows us what he can do, and I hope that he can shine through and give us some positivity. 3 to 4 months without Abada is a massive miss. There's no way to sugarcoat that. It is. He's one of the best players in the team. There's a reason we've offered him a new deal and we're desperate to see him stay. But I'm trying my best to just shine through it and look at the positives. And hopefully these guys who are going to be presented opportunities will take them. It's another reason why I hate the international breaks. But for some, this will cause, concern, and some people might start to panic. You look at it now, I really want to see the likes of Kyogo and Greg Taylor wrapped and bubble wrap for Saturday and maybe some other games moving forward, because if any of those two were to drop off, then you're talking about not having another left back for the Champions League. You're talking about having O playing up front without no backup options in the Champions League. We really can't afford to be in that position, so it's kind of eye-opening in that regard. I'm just happy that we do have options. Of course, we technically still have James Forrest there as well, so we're not too thin when it comes to right wing options. I just wish that this never happened to LIEL ABADA, because it does create a headache for us, and I just don't like seeing a nailed on starter go down with an injury, because he's one of those guys that when you put out your best 11, he's in it. He's on the right wing. He is in the best 11. No more, not until maybe December. So yeah, really frustrating. We'll wait to hear more after the scans and such, but it's a huge blow for Celtic. If you want some more positive news on the injury front, make sure to check out my video from yesterday, because that was mostly positive, with the returns looming of the likes of Rio Hatate, Cameron Carter-Vickers, and even Nat Phillips. Nat Phillips was interviewed yesterday by some of the media. He was unveiled at Celtic Park. And he spoke about coming into the team. We should be seeing him very soon. This is what he said. He said, "I'm just itching to go and get the games. I'm fit and I'm ready to play. I've had 2 weeks training under my belt, so we'll see if I can get a game at the weekend. But I'm feeling good." So with every negative, there seems to be a positive at the minute, but I just wish there was no negatives at all. Yeah, big opportunities though for Yang. Tellio when he's back. Take them, lads. And that does it for today. We're going to be recording a podcast tonight. The Celtic the Thunder will be back on the channel tomorrow ahead of the Dundee game. So we'll discuss these injuries and such in more detail tonight. Make sure to watch that. And if you want to get involved, make sure to go and check out the Celtic the Thunder Twitter page to get your questions in. But yeah, for me today, that's all. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.